Nathaniel Hayes, the captain, stood on the bridge of the Resolute, the UTF flagship, observing the lights on the holographic display when an incoming transmission arrived. The room became quiet as the massive figure of Ambassador Call appeared. Call started with cold cunning. "Humans," his voice echoed, eerie and serene. "You stand on the edge of submission or annihilation. Surrender to the Zark's dominion, or disappear from existence." Nathaniel clenched his jaw. The Zarks had been a looming threat for years, but this command solidified the inevitable. He looked at Dr. Zeno, linguist Isabella Clarke, and his dependable confidant standing by his side. Her eyes conveyed the same determination that burned within him. "We'll gather our counsel and reply when appropriate," Nathaniel answered, maintaining a calm and authoritative front. The projection disappeared, leaving the bridge in tense silence. Admiral Marcus Chong broke the hush. "We need to convene with our leaders immediately." Minutes later, Nathaniel, Isabella, and Chong sat in the strategy room alongside other high-ranking officials. The weight of the moment was evident. "The Zarks have made their move," Chong began. "They demand our submission or face annihilation. We must decide our course of action, quickly." Nathaniel inhaled deeply. "We need to consider all options. Surrender may save lives in the short term, but at what cost? Would we merely become slaves under their dominion?" Dr. Clarke's voice cut through the tension. "The Zarks perceive us as a threat. History shows they fear what they cannot control. Perhaps resistance is our best course of action, but we must be strategic." Nathaniel felt the weight of the choice before him. Humanity's future hung in the balance, and the words spoken in this room could tip the scales. After hours of deliberation, a decision was reached. "We will not bow." Nathaniel's voice was firm. "We oppose oppression." When Call received the response, his expression darkened. His voice turned cold. "Then, you have chosen destruction." The transmission cut out. Nathaniel turned to his officers. "Prepare for immediate action. We need to strengthen our defenses and organize our troops. This war will be unlike anything we've faced before." The Resolute erupted into a flurry of activity. Nathaniel moved with purpose, coordinating with his officers, preparing for the impending storm. He found a moment with Dr. Clarke. "I need your expertise," he said. "The Zarks will strike us with everything they have. We must find their weaknesses." Her eyes were sharp, determined. "I'll begin analyzing their communication patterns and technology. There has to be something we can exploit." Nathaniel nodded. He carried the burden of leadership, knowing that the lives of countless people depended on the decisions he would make in the days to come. There was no room for error. Hours later, the UTF Council met. Nathaniel stood at the head of the strategy table. "We will fortify key colonies and prepare for an offensive strike. We are not merely defending. We are proving to the Zarks that humanity cannot be tamed." Somber nods of agreement followed. They knew the path ahead was perilous, but they also knew their unbreakable spirit. The bridge erupted with urgency as the alert blared. "Captain, the Zark's fleet is in motion. Their first target is the UTF colony on New Terra." Nathaniel's voice was steady. "All hands, battle stations. Set course for New Terra." The Resolute roared into hyperspace. Nathaniel stood at the helm, thoughts racing with tactics and contingencies. The coming battle would test everything: his leadership, his bravery, and humanity's resilience. As they neared the colony, the engines screamed. Crew members braced for the inevitable fight. Lieutenant Emily Carter monitored the colony's defenses. "Shields at full capacity. Anti-air batteries are operational," she reported. "We'll need every advantage," Nathaniel muttered before turning to Dr. Clarke. "Isabella, have you identified anything in their communication patterns?" Her eyes burned with focus. "I'm seeing a pattern. It appears they rely on centralized coordination. If we can disrupt their command structure, we may have a chance. The Resolute emerged from hyperspace into chaos. Zark's ships rained energy blasts onto the colony below. Nathaniel's heart tightened at the devastation, but he steeled himself. Target. Their lead ship! Fire all batteries! The Resolute erupted with fury, sending a barrage of firepower into the Zark's fleet. Their shields flickered under the assault. Launch fighters! Keep them occupied while we regroup. UTF squadrons burst from the hangar, engaging the enemy in a deadly dogfight. Explosions lit up the sky as vessels from both sides were torn apart. Admiral, Chong's voice cut through the comms. We can't hold them forever, Captain. We're outnumbered. Nathaniel's mind raced. They needed an edge. Emily, can we redirect the colony's power grid to reinforce our shields? Her fingers flew across the console. It's risky, but possible. Give me a few minutes. Isabella, keep working on decrypting their signals. We need to disrupt their coordination. As the battle raged, Emily looked up, a glimmer of victory in her eyes. Shields reinforced. We can push them back. Admiral, focus fire on their flanking ships, Nathaniel commanded. The UTF forces executed the maneuver flawlessly. Concentrated fire shattered the Zark's formations, throwing them into disarray. Nathaniel saw his opportunity. Do not let them regroup. Press the attack. UTF ships surged forward, their assault relentless. The Zarks, caught off guard, faltered. Suddenly, Isabella gasped. I've cracked part of their system. They're using a central command ship to coordinate. If we take it out, their entire fleet will collapse. Nathaniel's voice was sharp. Where is it? She pointed to a massive vessel at the fleet's core. That's our target. All ships concentrate fire on the command ship. The UTF fleet redirected its assault. The alien vessel's shields flickered under the relentless barrage. A moment later, a massive explosion erupted from the ship, shockwaves tearing through. The Zark's fleet, their forces panicked, suddenly leaderless. They're retreating! Cheers broke out on the bridge, but Nathaniel's gaze remained hard. Don't let them escape. Secure the area. We cannot let them regroup. The UTF forces pursued, ensuring a decisive victory. As the last enemy ships vanished, Nathaniel exhaled deeply. We protected New Terra, he said, pride swelling in his chest. But this war is far from over. He gazed at the stars, knowing the battles ahead would only grow fiercer. The Zarks had learned a painful lesson. Humanity would never be conquered. As he turned back to his officers, determination set in his expression. Prepare for the next fight. This is just the beginning. Eager to learn more about Dr. Grant's work, she inquired, shattering the silence. Nathaniel nodded quietly. We need every advantage we can gain, so hopefully the project is as good as it seems. They went down to the shuttle bay and boarded, a vessel that transported them quickly to a covert research facility underground. When they arrived on Titan's surface, they were welcomed by physicist Dr. Elias Grant, whose brilliance could only be surpassed by his quirkiness. Welcome to Project Phoenix, Dr. Grant said, his eyes shining brightly with excitement. Follow me with eagerness. I have something remarkable to demonstrate to you. They walked through a network of hallways, the walls lined with cutting-edge machinery and busy with researchers. At last, they arrived at a locked room where Grant revealed Project Phoenix, an experimental energy weapon intended to destroy Zark's technology. This weapon emits a frequency that interferes with their communication and shield systems. It's our best opportunity to level the playing field, Grant explained. Nathaniel took a close look at the gadget, the structure of glistening metal and complex circuits. Amazing how quickly you've developed this, he said. Grant hesitated. But can we deploy it? Currently in the testing stage, Grant replied. We must be sure it won't backfire and cause more harm than good. Dr. Clark came forward, already thinking critically. What are the primary difficulties you're dealing with? The energy output stability must be accurately calibrated, or it could become unstable and result in a disastrous feedback loop. Grant explained. Nathaniel looked back at Isabella. We have limited time. The Zarks will strike again soon, and we need this weapon ready. They spent hours reviewing the weapon's capabilities, discussing possible simulations to improve the calibration. Isabella offered several solutions. Nathaniel worked with the UTF to arrange for engineers to integrate the weapon into their ship. Days turned into nights as the group put in a lot of effort, motivated by the mission's urgency. Isabella had a breakthrough when she identified a problem with the frequency modulation. With minor modifications, the weapon's stability significantly improved. Grant's voice remarked, "That should do it. We need a field test to be sure, though." Nathaniel didn't waste time. He arranged for a ship to be ready for testing. They went to a barren asteroid, a remote field far from any populated areas, to conduct the test. Grant and Nathaniel watched as Isabella activated the weapon. A pulse of energy radiated out, and the check drones confirmed the weapon's effectiveness, as the shields of the drones collapsed. "It works," Isabella said, her tone relieved. Nathaniel gave one of his rare smiles. "Okay, let's incorporate this into our fleet." But then an alarm went off throughout the building. Security personnel scrambled as Nathaniel's heart skipped a beat. An intruder had breached the facility. Grant's face turned pale. "They've sabotaged us. The Zarks are here." Nathaniel and Isabella rushed to the security control center where security personnel were already pursuing the intruder. The chase led them through the complex to a remote laboratory where they confronted an agent from the Zarks. "Stop the weapon's core," Nathaniel shouted. The agent sneered, raising his firearm. In a swift, coordinated effort, Isabella and Nathaniel disabled the agent before he could destroy their work. Grant rushed to evaluate the core. "It's fine. Despite the damage," Nathaniel exhaled slowly. "We must improve security. If they know about Project Phoenix,